It's great to be here. We appreciate the invitation. Anytime Sandip and I can get on and talk about security, that's a great day and a great thing. So thank you again for the invitation, and we're very happy to be here. Just a few housekeeping things. My name again is Paul Greif, and I am the co-lead director of the Customer Information Security Advisory within the Chief Trust Office of SAP, which is located within our security group. And I've been with SAP for 2 years. Prior to that, I worked in the legal world, focusing on contracts and security, and really looking forward to our presentation here today. Sandip, why don't you introduce yourself now?
Yes, hi everyone. I am Sandip, and I am actually I'm also InfraGuard. I'm also in the InfraGuard team, and I actually I am also part of SAP's Chief Trust Office within the SAP organization, and today we are going to talk about enabling trust and embedded, like how to embed security in our day-to-day life and how to gain people's trust. That's the goal here. And so our
thanks.
agenda here
Yeah.
is I will start with about SAP's Chief Trust Office. Followed by we will talk about threat and threat landscape, and what do we think is the major issues why people don't trust businesses, or what do they think, and then what SAP is doing to win their trust, and at the end we will wrap it up with Q&A. So now, without any delay, I will hand it over back to Paul for SAP Chief Trust Office.
Thank you, Sandip. Thank you so much. Okay, so you can see here, the Chief Trust Office. Let me give you a little background before I get to the mission. The Trust Office was created in 2020, and the main focus was to support customers throughout the customer journey in all matters related to security, privacy, and compliance. And the purpose, as you can see there, is to preserve the trust of our global customers and partners by developing a framework focused on security, transparency, and privacy. In line with this purpose, our core focus is defending SAP and our customers against cyber threats. Main purpose and core focus at all times. We provide global customers and partners with the resources they need so they know how their data is protected. The Trust Office provides this information, as you will see later in the slides, but we really want to provide all the resources to our customers so they can see firsthand how their data is protected. We seek to differentiate trust and transparency in order to quality of our products and services. So we really want to focus on trust and transparency, and we think that's a really factor in our favor and a differentiator for us. We also see that customers have more at stake these days than just profits and losses. Now there's an increased focus on ethics and trust, and we're there to fill in that gap with what we do in the Trust Office. Sandip, if you want to go to the next slide. Thank you. So, what's our vision and commitment to our customers? As I mentioned earlier, the demand for issues around trust continues to grow, particularly around cloud security. We strive for excellence in everything we do within the Trust Office, including the strong security foundation and greater transparency. We take security very seriously within the whole company. We've created a security culture with within SAP, led by our board, which is an initiative. We have a board initiative that all SAP employees learn about security. And we have classes and training that we develop for them so they can do that, which you'll hear about in a little bit. We also, the board has an initiative on pilot efforts to bring ideas forward. We encourage employees to bring ideas forward that they think can help and strengthen our security and our protection for trust for our customers. And as you can see, our commitment has been established to set the global security and privacy narrative. We do this with our policies and frameworks to serve over 200 million SAP users worldwide. If you want to go to the next slide, Sandip, thank you. So we basically have within the trust office about 5 functional areas. And as I mentioned earlier, hopefully I did, Elena Kolchevo is our lead in our the head of the trust office. So underneath her is 5 groups, which one is I am under the Customer Information Security Advisory. The first one, though, you see there is Secure Development Operations, which since this slide has been renamed Secure Engineering and Education Development. But their function is the same. This group is our development operations, and it focuses on the learning and training for all the employees and our contractors and customers. They have curriculum across for all employees, and they have training that all employees, as I mentioned earlier, can take and are required to take. Within the Customer Information Security Advisory, which we call CISA, and I'm the co-lead of that, we enable SAP to sell security to our customers with the face-to-face commitments, communications, and documentation. What this means really is that we have a group of about 25, and they include due diligence specialists, security architects, and contract advisors. And our security architects in particular, Sandip being one of our primary security architects, is that we do customer-facing and meetings and calls. And what we do on this, we like to work with our customers and potential customers as early as possible in the cycle to start the conversation about security. And with our security architects, we learn to engage early on about the trust that we can deliver to our customers and the privacy and protections of their data. Our due diligence architects work on security questionnaires from potential and existing customers. And then our contracts advisors work with our sales teams and any customer deviations that may come about that we need to review and talk to with our customers and with the sales team. We also have a regulatory compliance team that really works on the processes and procedures of the group, of the trust office. And they assist with particularly on our regulated industry customers, and they're a group of specialists who know that these areas very well throughout the world. If you want to go to the next slide, Sandip, thank you. We also have a global customer engagement, which is why we're here today, partly because this is a group that promotes SAP security message through events and education, such as these. This group works with SAP employees to promote security awareness all through SAP and in different events, as I said, just like this. And then content development. is another group within the Chief Trust Office. Here's where we create resources for customers and internal stakeholders and the public to learn more about our security practices. We have an SAP Trust Center where we document and have these documents. If you want to go to slide 5, the next slide. So here we have, this is the SAP My Trust Center. And you can see here it provides documents, security, data, compliance agreements, includes subscription functionality. And this one is the My Trust Center, which is only available to customers and partners with valid user IDs. And we also have a public trust center, which just is called the Trust Center, where we have information also, but not unique to certain customers and obviously not private and confidential information. We like the Trust Center because we look at it as a one-stop shop. We also publish white papers, videos, informational guides, all available on the Trust Center. We also have a support portal. And we like to have a customer-only Trust Center, as you saw there, for our only customers. If you want to go to the next slide, I think and here's some more components on the My Trust Center. As you can see here, some technical organizational measures. We have some information about sub-processors, compliance documents, and we really want to have all the information readily available for our customers so they know exactly how we are protecting their data. In summary, on the Trust Office is that it's all about customer support relating to security, privacy, and compliance. And Sandip, I'll hand it over to you for agenda item number 2.
Sure, I will take it over from here, and I will turn the video on. I actually kept my video off so far, so you know what I look like when I wear suit, you know. Now I'm going to turn it on. So anyway, the next our next topic here is threat and threat landscape. So first, let's talk about the major threats that we are having right now in the industry, right? So the number one is obviously the data breaches and the data loss, because every time we lose data, it's a big thing. It's in the news, business is impacted or big time. So that's our number one threat. Number two is obviously us. We as an employee easily tend to check out all the links in the emails, in the text, and it is how we basically lose our IDs and information, and that's another surefire ways for hackers to access the information. The third is the application itself, right? If we have any loopholes in the application, anything, right, and we don't patch it on the time, many organizations tends to do that, okay, we will do this and the next patch at the same time in 2 weeks, but that 2 weeks, it's an opportunity for hacker to get in and exploit the application. So anytime you have an open issue, we have to patch it immediately. That's number one goal. The fourth item is like, you know, insecure APIs. This is surefire and easy way for a hacker to gain access, to have their foot in the door, to say, right? Because this is the easiest way. They don't need to steal anything. They just have to exploit what's available to them, and that's an easier task. The DOS attack, as we know, we don't really lose any data or information in here for the most part, but it is important for the business because it could bring the business down, and it could ultimately cost to business's image as well as the economically, right? Because like if you look at like Google or Amazon, to come down for a few hours could have like big impact, right, on their business and image both. And last but not the least, the basically all kinds of wares that we have, like all kinds of malwares that we have. It could like destroy the data, it could hijack the data even, and take the data out depending on what they are trying to do inside, but it could be a major threat as well. So why people do all this, right? Why we have these threats? And it could be many factors, like they want to earn some basically gain money, make something on it. They want to do espionage. They want to gain some advantage on you in like in terms of business. There are many reasons, right? People blackmail their exes and things like that. There are so many things could happen with all this information that is out right now. And every time we introduce a new enhancement to our application and the software, it basically making our application little more complex. And every time that happens, right, every time the information is every time anytime the application is more complex, it becomes harder to protect. So the threat landscape is enhancing basically. And every time we get the new device or new application to work or at home, it basically opening another door for hacker to enter, another access point we are offering unless we make sure we secure it. So that's another way to expand the threat area or the attack area, right, for the hackers. Lately, like we can't even imagine how big our organization's attack surface is, but is so big that we can't even imagine, right? Because everything we do, everything we touch, essentially has an area which could be hacked into, right? Or which could be used to hacked into. So threat landscape is very big. Now, what is the economical or like overall impact of this? So let's take a look at this. Like 36 billion with B, right? The records are exposed by data breaches, have been exposed by data breaches. The almost 60% of the data breaches involve the PII, basically personal data of people. About 40% growth, uh, uh, basically about 40% more ransomware attacks have happened in last 2 years. That is like almost like half more, right, than 2020. And about 7 million new phishing links sites are out there, and people are tempted to hack. I mean, tempted to check it out, and it is how they being hacked. They are being hacked, right? About close to 70% business leaders believe that they are at high risk, and their data will be stolen at one point. And the average cost of every data breach is like 4 million. So that's a lot of money, right? Even like small hack is going to cost you a lot of money. One third of organizations report that they have one way or other they have been attacked by the ransomware during the lockdown, and more than half of the attacks are uh, attacked by organized crime groups. So these are all like staggering numbers, right? And these are all like from the valid sources like Gartner and others. So this is the threat landscape right now, and this is very scary. And it has a big impact on our business, right? I mean, it has a threefold impact to our business, basically. It has economic impact. Obviously, anytime the hack happens, we lose money, data immediately, because we have to spend more money and time to regain what we lost, to make sure we patch everything. So there is an economical impact, right, regardless of whether it's a big hack or a small hack. Another aspect is the image of the business, right? People tend to look at, oh, they can't even protect their data. How are they going to protect my data, right? So that's the image is obviously ruined once the news is out. And lastly, it could be a legal impact too, depending on what kind of data has been stolen. And you could be I mean, business could end up in the court if it's impacted in a legal way. One estimate is about $6 trillion will be hit by $6 trillion worth of damage because of the hacks and attacks by end of this year. That's a big number. So, and obviously, as we all know, like people are the weakest link, and there are, as I said, there are like 6.9 million links out there, right, for people to click on that every day. So we got to be very careful where we click. And education of the people is obviously one of the key factor in security. But again, when I talk about education of people, what I find is like more like it's like going to church, right? We go to church every Sunday, and the preachers, okay, be good to your neighbor, do honest, be honest, do good thing. But as soon as we leave the church, we are same as we were, right? And we don't really improve, because had we improved by going to church every Sunday, world would have been different, right? And this is exactly the same thing happens here. We train people, don't do this, don't do this, but they use the same idea and same password everywhere, and then they get hacked and everything is lost. So it's uh, I mean, yeah, education. Uh, we have to try basically as a security professional, right? So how can we prevent this, right? Apart from education, so it's one of some of these things are very well known industry practices, like shift left, right? We want to build the security right in when we design the application instead of doing bolt on afterwards, because anything which is bolt on could easily missed. So embed it as you start doing your application designing. Number two, as I said, like, regularly and immediately patch your OS application, update everything. You need to close all the unused ports. Um, uh, if you have any employees which don't need to access some of the applications, you need to remove the access. You have to review the access regularly. Data protection obviously is the key, right? Because everything we do in IT industry overall is to protect data, right? So data, I mean, we have to encrypt the data at rest, data uh, uh, encrypt the disk. And also if people, employees have to see the data, we can mask them, the information which they don't need it. So that way data loss will be uh, they are, that way we can minimize the impact of the data loss if it should happen. And obviously we have to watch everything we do, right? Because what we don't see, basically we can't control. But to control what's going on, we have to see it, and it is why we have to monitor every activity in the organization. So what are the new trends, right, to improve this? So one of the buzzwords is obviously zero trust architecture, ZTA, and it is ZTA itself is not anything new, but it helps because it does enforce some basic security principle like multi-factor authentication, micro-segmentation, need to know base accesses, and things like that, right? So this principle automatically will be drilled in to employees, and the insider threat as well as the external threat would be less. Obviously, the next major word is, as we know, ransomware. The ransomware. So for that, the only way out is we have to back up the data, but we have to make sure that we don't keep the data at the same location as we have the other actual data, because otherwise they both will be encrypted and we will lose, and the backup will not be of any help to us. We can use AI and ML to parse and hide the PII and other information. Actually, Amazon AWS started this with Athena, I believe, and now SAP also offers the tools like this. And it is very important nowadays, because if we can take out all the PII from the data, then hackers will not have any intention or any any urge to hack in because they can't get anything important anyways. And last, like I said, like, we have to log everything. We can implement state-of-the-art SIM tools so that we can generate the baseline, and anything goes away from, deviate from the baseline, the alert will be sent out. So that will definitely help uh, to like operations team, because every time there is a login from an at unknown time from unknown location, there will be an alert, and the operations team will know, okay, at the like 2 a.m. someone is trying to log again from China. This is not right. Okay, let's block it or whatever. So this way we can prevent some of these um, hacks or threats. Avoid. Uh, so next, the state of trust, right? And as I said all along, the state of trust is not very strong, unfortunately, because almost three-fourths of people, like close to 70%, feel that businesses are not doing enough to protect their data and information. Like almost 60% buyers are likely to avoid uh, any company if they have been impacted by an attack in the year or so, and one-fourth buyers would abandon the product if you have been impacted by any of the ransomware related attacks. So these are big numbers, right? And we can see how much impact on the businesses can be with these numbers. I mean, this is not, I mean, one-fourth buyers to lose by one attack. That's a big impact to any business. On the other side of the screen here, these are some numbers. Like people think, obviously, I mean, everybody thinks that Uncle Sam is not doing right for them. Like, I mean, so that is one of the, basically 60% people think that, federal governments uh, are not doing enough, or they are not doing very fast enough to implement the measures um, to protect their data and information. About 80% of people, I think that their work future is in doubt because of the automation and the fake news, right? Like on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere, we see these kind of like videos and different things with the deep fake and everything. That is hard to say what is right versus what is wrong. So people don't know who to trust, basically. There's another issue. So with this state of the trust, we have some issues, right, that we are facing here. So why people don't trust? When people don't trust the businesses, right? A number one reason is when they think that they don't have enough information available to them. They don't know enough about the business. They don't know what's going on. Then they uh, tend not to trust the business. Number two reason is the availability of the information, right? The access. Even if the information is available, but if they have to like fill out the forms, or like in 80s, we had those system where we actually mailed in uh, a stamped self-addressed envelope. So if they have to do things like this, they would not try to trust this, right? Because who has time to do all this, right? They want people want everything available to them at their fingertip, on their phone, on their iPad, on their laptop, right? So things like this would tend people not to trust you if you make it uh, difficult for them to access the information. Number three reason, like as a husband, right? I know that I'm always wrong. So that's not an issue. But outside the house, in business also, when you think anything is wrong with your business, something has happened, please step out and tell your employees, your people, your stakeholders that, okay, this is what happened. This is the state. This is the ETA. We are trying to fix it. So people want the honest information when something goes wrong with the business. Uh, People have only one goal, right? They want their data and information safe. They don't care what you do other than that. I mean, are you honest with them? You have your data safe. And if you can't assure that, then they don't trust you. And the last thing people want is obviously their right to what they want to share with you, right? They want to have a say that, okay, you can keep my this number, but you can keep my this number, or whatever information they want to share. They should have an option uh, to pick and choose. So these are the major issues. If we don't fulfill these 5 requirements, people tend not to trust the businesses. Now we at SAP take these things to the heart, right? And it is why we have, like as Paul explained, right? We are dedicated. We have a dedicated trust office, and we under Alina, and we are part of SGS. So we have a dedicated team who look after the trust issues and work on it day in and day out. We also have a separate team under our SDS group called Defense Center. It's where innovation and other basically information security related development and research happens. And the third important thing, our CSO, Tim McKnight, reports to CEO. So we want to make sure anytime anything goes wrong, our CEO is aware. So this is a big step, and Alina reports to Tim. So we are basically a step away from our CEO. So trust is very important for SAP, and we are doing everything to meet these challenges. So ask what SAP can do for you, right? Obviously.
Sandip, there's a question from Veronica. Veronica, you want to ask the question live?
Sure.
Veronica, you're on mute. I'll ask it for her. Does SAP encrypt PII data at rest, in transit, or both?
SAP encrypt in. Actually, the answer is both. The answer is both. But then again, it depends on the application and use and everything. But for the most part, answer is both.
Great, thank you.
Not a problem. Yeah, I did not see it probably. I'm sorry about that in the chat. I mean, how do we meet? I mean, what SAP can do for you, right, in this situation to gain people's trust? So number one, right, we have a website, we have papers out, we have blogs, we have a news sites, news bites available, and we make sure we update the information, we provide the information. As an example, right, about 8-9 months ago, we had this log4j saga, right? I mean, everybody like in the news and everywhere, everybody were going about it, right? And SAP and Alina and Tim were on top of it all the time. And SAP not only investigated immediately, we actually every day provided updates on our blogs and sites that here is the ETA, this is what the impact is, here is the ETA, and this is what we are trying to do. And it was daily updates for first 2 weeks actually, until we have everything looked through. So things like this, SAP is right on top of it immediately. And log4j was an immediate example that just happened 6 months ago, and we were on top of it. So as far as SAP, like we are very open to everyone who use SAP applications. The information is easily accessible to everyone. Like as Paul said, we have like Trust Center, we have like my Trust Center, we have something called Patch, and we also release SAP Notes. So there are multiple avenues through which people can access the information immediately. When we make the mistake, anything goes wrong, like as I said, right, our CSO reports to CEO, and they are very honest, they would come out. I mean, anything like that has not happened, but if it should happen, Tim would release a statement, and we would write on our business to fix the issue and update people with ETA. As we just spoke, right, the people's goal is to make sure that their data is safe with us, and we do everything to do that. And actually, we provide detailed information: what we encrypt, how we encrypt, where the data is stored, what are the data center we use, what are the public clouds we use. Everything is out in open, and we try to be as interactive with people who use our application and software as much we can, and make sure they are aware of what's going on with SAP and their data. Because one estimate is like world's 77%, 70% of like in the world, 77% of like economy stream is touches SAP one way or other. So every time and economic exchange happens, whether it's in rupee, in ruble, franc, dollar, anywhere in the world, right? 77% of that would touch SAP ecosystem one way or other, whether it's Ariba, it's Concur, it's S4HANA. But so it's a big impact, right? And we want to make sure the people know that their data and information is safe. And and at the end, I would again say that we give people choice of what they want to opt out and what they want to share with us. And this is the core principle with GDPR, and SAP is GDPR compliant. So we do make sure that people have this option to opt out if they do not want to share some of the information, unless we need it for like analysis or any other reasons, right? Technical reasons. And obviously this guy is left-handed, and he's not on the fingertip, he's using thumb, but the information is available on your fingertips or thumb. And these are the various links for people to get more information about SAP and what we do to gain people's trust. So this is end of my session. Paul, do you want to add anything at this point?
No, that was fantastic. Thank you, Sandip. Very good. Nothing else to add at the moment.
So, hey, this is John Chucko. Quick question. How much of what you showed in the very first area, the Trust Center, is available to the public?
On the Trust Center website, you can just Google that, and there's probably the most, a good portion of that is available to just search and review. Obviously, the My Trust Center is individualized for customers to get notices and pick up information specific to them or to their line of business. But we have lots and lots of information on the public website that people can review, videos, papers, whatever it may be.